For years, McDonald's dollar menu was hailed as a revolutionary way to deliver value in fast food. Cheap, simple, and wildly popular, it seemed like a stroke of marketing genius. But was it really the win-win it appeared to be? If you enjoy sharp takes on food industry myths, don't forget to subscribe. Behind the golden arches lies a more complicated story, one marked by financial strain, franchisee backlash, and brand confusion. The dollar menu may have saved McDonald's in the short term, but the long-term costs have been far less appetizing. The roots of McDonald's famous dollar menu can be traced back to 1989, when the company launched its first value campaign. But this wasn't a bold industry first, it was a reluctant response. Rivals like Taco Bell and Wendy's had already beaten McDonald's to the punch with their own low-cost menus. Rather than setting the pace, McDonald's was playing catch-up during a time of economic recession. The campaign offered select items at lower prices, but it was more about survival than strategy. In reality, it revealed a growing dependency on price slashing to stay relevant, an approach that would soon define the brand's struggles more than its successes. By 2002, McDonald's was in trouble. Sales were sliding, customer interest was fading, and its stock had plummeted nearly 40% in a single year. The solution? A quick gimmick: sell select items for just $1. It worked, at least on the surface. Traffic increased and customers flocked to the newly launched dollar menu. But rather than addressing the deeper issues plaguing the brand, outdated stores, menu confusion, and growing competition, McDonald's leaned into a discount strategy that masked its weaknesses. This was not innovation, it was desperation dressed up as marketing. The dollar menu wasn't a roadmap for the future, it was a bandage over a much larger wound. To the public, the dollar menu looked like smart marketing. But behind the scenes, it was the franchisees, not McDonald's corporate, who paid the real price. Each dollar item may have brought customers through the door, but it also chipped away at local operators' margins. After covering the cost of ingredients, packaging, wages, rent, and the obligatory 4% cut sent to McDonald's headquarters, many franchisees were selling food at a loss. And yet, they had no choice. Corporate dictated the prices, while the financial fallout landed squarely on the shoulders of those actually running the restaurants. This wasn't partnership, it was exploitation. McDonald's insulated itself from the consequences of its pricing strategy by offloading risk onto its franchise network. The dollar menu didn't just test customer loyalty, it tested the loyalty of the very people propping up the brand. In its rush to win over cost-conscious customers, McDonald's ended up sabotaging its own menu. By flooding restaurants with ultra-cheap options, the company didn't just offer value, it reprogrammed customer expectations entirely. Suddenly, $6 meals looked absurd next to $1 burgers. Combo sales slumped, premium items gathered dust, and profit margins vanished. What began as a traffic-driving tactic quickly turned into self-inflicted damage. Franchisees were left watching customers bypass the core menu altogether. Why would a customer order anything else? One operator asked in 2014, a rhetorical question with a painful answer. McDonald's had built a pricing trap and then pushed its entire system into it. The dollar menu didn't just drive down prices, it dragged the brand's long-term value down with it. When the dollar menu started costing more than $1, McDonald's didn't level with customers. It doubled down on the illusion. With clunky rebrands like Dollar Menu and More and McPick 2, the company tried to spin price hikes as innovation. But the public wasn't fooled. A McChicken for $1.69, a value cheeseburger for over $2. Customers weren't just disappointed, they felt lied to. A McDonald's corporate, sitting comfortably in boardrooms, underestimated the intelligence and loyalty of everyday consumers. Instead of admitting the model no longer worked, they quietly inflated prices while hoping no one would notice. The result was predictable. Trust eroded, and the brand's once simple promise, value for $1, became a corporate bait and switch. The disconnect between corporate spin and real-world wallets has never been more obvious. A short-term spike in sales is easy. Building lasting trust, that's where McDonald's keeps failing. In 2017, the company rolled out yet another pricing gimmick, the $1, $2, $3 menu. Corporate cheered when US sales jumped 2.9% in the first quarter. But under the surface, the same cracks widened. Customers were still confused, franchisees still frustrated, and the menu still a muddled mess. Was McDonald's a low-budget value chain or a premium fast food brand? The company couldn't decide, and the result was brand identity whiplash. Stacking discount menus on top of each other didn't clarify McDonald's position in the market. It blurred it entirely. The real question isn't whether McDonald's can drive short bursts of sales, it's whether it can stop undermining itself in the process. Enjoying the deep dive? You might like what's coming next. While McDonald's corporate continues to chase quarterly wins and appease shareholders, customers are left with less for more. What began as a promise of value has devolved into an industry-wide spiral: smaller portions, lower quality, and rising frustration. Chains like McDonald's aren't leading anymore. They're reacting, slashing prices while quietly cutting corners. And while executives celebrate modest sales bumps in boardrooms, everyday customers are getting nickel and dimed at the counter. Behind every value campaign is a growing gap: corporate profit versus customer experience. The public gets downgraded menus and dwindling satisfaction, while leadership stays focused on stock prices and marketing spin. It's not a strategy, it's a slow erosion. And McDonald's is no longer just a participant in this race to the bottom. It helped build the track. The dollar menu was never just about affordability, it was about trust. And over time, McDonald's traded that trust for quick wins and temporary headlines. Franchisees were squeezed, customers misled, and the brand's identity blurred beyond recognition. What once felt like a promise, reliable value for everyday people, turned into a corporate maneuver with little regard for those on the ground. The cost of a $1 burger was never just monetary. It came at the expense of transparency, loyalty, and long-term vision. McDonald's may still serve billions, but if it continues prioritizing perception over principle, the real damage won't show up on a balance sheet. It'll show up at the counter, one disappointed customer at a time. Want more honest takes on the stories behind the brands we think we know? Follow along for deep dives that go beyond the marketing and shine a light on what's really happening behind the counter.